Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the another lecture of atomic structure. Myself, Suman Singh. So, in the last lecture, we have discussed about the Schrodinger wave equation. So, in this class, we will learn about the quantum number, right? We will see about what is quantum number. So, when we talk about this quantum number, the term quantum number is used to identify the various energy levels available with the atoms in which the electrons of an atom can reside. Okay, or what we can say, if we will say in a very easy term, then we can tell like this: quantum number is what this these quantum numbers are obtained by solving Schrodinger wave equations. Okay, and what is this quantum number? This is an address of an electron. Means this quantum number is nothing but an address. Okay, address of electron. Okay, an address of electron. So this quantum number, if you want to describe, or we can say this quantum number are of basically three types: principal quantum number, azimuthal quantum number, magnetic quantum number. And the fourth one is spin quantum number, which is obtained experimentally. Okay, basically the quantum number is this three only: principal, azimuthal, and magnetic. But this spin quantum number we have found experimentally. Okay, so now regarding quantum number, what we can say, this is what the behavior of an electron in an atom is described mathematically by the wave function or orbit. These are what: principal quantum number, azimuthal quantum number, magnetic quantum number, and spin quantum number. Okay, so so what is this quantum number? We can say that it is nothing but a set of number used to describe what energy. You can say here energy. Quantum number will describe the energy, shape, and size of the orbitals in an atom. Okay, this is called what? Quantum number. So what we can say is quantum number is nothing but a set of number used to describe energy, size, shape of the orbit in which the atoms or orbit of in an atom is called quantum number. Okay, so one by one we will see what is principal quantum number or what is azimuthal quantum number. So as we have seen, the Bohr has assumed that the electron in an atom are revolving around the nucleus in a circular orbit or cell, right? And each orbit or cell he has called that an energy level, right? So one more thing, what he has says, different energy level in an atom have been represented by what he was what different energy level while describing the energy level. What he has given, right, n, right? And he was describing this with a number n, right? So different energy level in an atom has been represented by n. Okay, which can be non-zero positive integer. Okay, and whose value will be up to infinity. It will be, suppose it will be it will start from 0, and it will 1 1 2 3, and it will go up to it will go up to infinity, right? Up to infinity. So this n is what we can say regarding the principal quantum number. It is principal quantum number is denoted by n. Okay, and n can be any whole number value such as 1 2 3 4 etc. Okay, up to infinity. And this and the energy shell corresponding to this number are called k, l, m, n. Okay, means if it is 1 then k, if it is 2 then l, if it is 3 means m, if it is 4 then it is n. Means I am talking about n. If the value of n is 1, then it is describing k shell. If it is 2, it is describing l. If it is 3, it is describing m. If it is 4, it is describing n. Okay, Now, again, this principal quantum number indicate the main energy level. Okay, what is the main energy level of that atom? It is described by this principal quantum number. Okay, or we can say that it describes the main energy level to which the electron belongs. Okay, means what we can say, if we have to give our address. Okay, how we wish to give our address? First of all, what we can say, we give our house number, right? We give our house number. After that we give the name of our colony. Okay, after that we give the name of the street, right? After that we give the name of the district, and after that we give the name of the state and country, right? So suppose if it is within India, then first of all this is state. We will see, so first of all what we will see is state. If any courier, if any courier will come, what that courier man will see? First of all he will see the state to which this courier is belong, right? So in the same way, this n is what, it is just like the state, or state, if we state, or we can say that the area, or we can say that the state in which that parcel will go, or like this, this quantum number and principal quantum number is same as that. Okay, these are both are same. So now this principal quantum number, what it indicate the main energy level to which the electron belong. Okay, it also indicate the average distance of electron from the nucleus. Okay, and also the speed of the atomic electrons. So it also describe, or we can say that it also tells us the average distance of electron from the nucleus. Okay, as we can say that as the value of n increases, the distance of the electron from the nucleus increases, in energy level also increases. Okay, just like I will give you the example. Suppose we are taking like this. Suppose this is a nucleus. Okay, this is a nucleus, and this nucleus is suppose surrounded by uh, orbit like this, according to the Bohr orbit, right? Bohr is given like this model. So what he say, this first orbit is called n is equal to 1. For first orbit n is equal to 1, for second orbit n is equal to 2, and for third orbit n is equal to 3. So as the number of n increases, the distance of the electron from the nucleus will also increase. As it is written here, you can say, as the number of n value increases, the distance of the electron from the nucleus increases, and since the distance from the nucleus is also increasing, its energy also increases, right? Now next, now if you talk about the maximum number of electron that can be present in an orbit, it will be given by 2n square. Okay, it will be given by what? 2n square. How we will see that the maximum number of electron in K, L, M, N cell are 2, 8, 8, 18, 2, 8, 18, 32. How it is coming, you see. This 2n square will describe what? It will describe the maximum number of electron that can be present in an orbit. How we can see that? Suppose if we are talking about n is equal to 1. Okay, if you are taking n is equal to 1, then it is talking about what? It is talking about K cell. So if you want to find out that in K cell how many electrons are there, so we will use this number 2n square, right? 2n square, we will use we will use this formula. So n is what here? N is 1, right? So how we can calculate? 2 into 1 square, which is will be 2. So in K cell, maximum number of electron will be how much? 2, right? Now again, if we will talk about the m means, if we are talking about m means, here n is what? N is 2. Okay, when n is 2, then we, according to the formula, if how many number of electron will be there, it will be 2n square. So it will be how much? 2 into 2 square. Okay, so 2 square is 4, 4 into 2 is 8. So in maximum number of electron in m cell is what? 8, right? After that, if we talk about n cell, n after uh, I was talking about L. Okay, K, after K it will come L, right? Sorry for that. In L, if you're talking about L, it n will be 2. Okay, and if n is 2, then it will be 2 into 2 square, which will be 8, right? Now again, if we are talking about M cell, then n will be 3, and if n is 3, it means 2 into 3 square. 3 square is what? 9, right? 9 into 2 is 18. right? So this, in this way we can find out that how many electrons will be there in K cell, L cell and M cell with this formula 2n square, right? With this 2n square formula we can find out how many electrons will be there in K, L and M cell. Okay, so I hope you have understood this. Now again, if you want to find the radius, so in the previous lecture we have seen the formula, right? This formula to find out the radius Rn, we will use what formula? 0.529 into n square divided by z, right? In Armstrong, we will calculate in Armstrong. So there, here n is what? N is what? Principal quantum number. Here n is what? N is what? Principal quantum number, and this z is what? Atomic number, right? So in this way we can calculate the radius of that orbit. Okay, after that again, when we talk about the energy of that orbit, we will use this formula En. Here also you can see this n is what? It is a principal quantum number, and this z is what? It is an atomic number, right? So with this formula we can calculate the what? Energy also. And again after that, if you want to calculate the velocity, so we will use this formula to calculate the velocity. You can see here this formula. So by using this formula we can calculate the velocity. Here n is what? N is principal quantum number and z is again atomic number, and with this formula we can calculate the velocity also, right? So I hope you have understood this. So now after this was all about your principal quantum number. I hope you have understood this. Now when we talk about the azimuthal quantum number, so this azimuthal quantum number is denoted by L. Okay, it is denoted by L. Okay, it is denoted by L, and it tells us the suborbit of the electron and also the angular momentum. Okay, it tells us the suborbit of the electron and also the angular momentum of the electron. Okay, and its value, when we talk about the value, it will be from 0 to n minus 1. Okay, its value will be from 0 to n minus 1. We will see one by one. So first of all, this azimuthal quantum number was introduced by this Sommerfeld to explain the fine spectrum. Okay, to explain the fine spectrum, this Sommerfeld has introduced this azimuthal quantum number. Okay, this is also called a secondary quantum number, or we can say that orbital angular momentum quantum number or subsidiary quantum number. Okay, no, it is denoted by L. I have already told you. Now the value of L, L will be from 0 to n minus 1. So I will tell you how. Suppose we are taking n is equal to 1. Okay, so when we are taking L is equal to n is equal to 1, then the value of, at that time the value of L will be what? 0. Okay, and if the value of L is 0, means it is talking about 1s. Okay, 1s orbital. Okay, it is talking about 1s orbital. Now again, if we are talking about n is equal to 2, okay, if we are talking about n is equal to 2, then the value of this L, then the value of this L will be 0 and 1, right? How we can calculate? What I have given, n minus 1, right? So if we are taking n is equal to 1, when we are taking n is equal to 1 here in this case, when we are taking, how this L is equal to 0 is coming, you can see n is what? If n is 1, n minus 1, right? Like this, L value is, L is equal to what? N minus 1. So if n is our 1, then 1 minus 1 means what is coming? 0 coming, right? You can see here it is 0 written, right? And again, if it is 0, L is 0, then it is talking about 1s. Again, n is equal to 2, means it will be 2 minus 1. 2 minus 1 will be what? 1, right? So when we taking 1, means it is from 0 to 1. As I have told you, it will be 0 and 0 to 1. When it is 0 to 1, it is talking about what? 2s. In 2s it will be 0, and for 1 is for 2p. Okay, now again we will see n is equal to, when n is equal to 3, at that time value of L will be what? 3 minus 1, it will be 2. when it is 2, it will be what? 0, 1 and 2, right? When it is 0, 1 and 2, this 0 will be for s, okay? It will be 3s, suppose, since it is n is 3, our 3s, and this 1 is for 3p, okay? This 1 is for 3p and this 2 is for 3d, okay? This 3d, right? Again, if we are taking n is equal to 4, then if we are taking n is equal to 4, then it will be what? If we are taking n is equal to 4, then the value of L will be what? Value of L will be, it will be from 0, 1, 2, 3, right? It will be 4 values, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 values. Again, this 0 is for S, okay? The 0 is for S, 1 is for P, 2 is for D, and 3 is for F, okay? So since it is a 4, principal number, quantum number is 4, so it will be 4s, 4p, 4d and 4f. I hope you have understood this, okay? So this was about the azimuthal quantum number. So I hope you, this line you have understood, right? This line you have understood. Now again, we will see this azimuthal quantum number. It also indicate the subcell to which the electron belong. It will tell the subcell. As you know that cell, under the cell there is a subshell or orbital, right? So it will tell the subcell to which the electron will reside, as I have told you, SPDF, like this, okay? And it also determine the shape of the orbital in which the electron is present. It will tell the shape of the orbital. As we know that the s orbital is like this, p orbital is like this dumbbell shape. As you can see in your book, it will be given, it p or s orbital is like this, okay? And this is a p orbital. In the same way, when we will see the d orbital, it will be something like this, okay? It will be like this, d orbital, okay? So this also tell us, this azimuthal quantum number tells us the shape of the orbital. As you can see, this is not touching, right? This is not touching because it is nucleus. This point is nucleus. An electron, the probability of finding an electron will be not in the nucleus, as we know that new electrons cannot reside in an nucleus, right? That is why this is not touching, right? You can see here also it is not touching, this plane it is not touching, you can see, right? So this azimuthal quantum number tells the shape of the orbit in which the electron is present. After that, each main energy shell can have n number of cells, subshell, okay? For n1, if the value of n is 1, then it will be only 1s. If the n is 2, as I have already told you, it will be 0 and 1, which will be 2s and 2p. If n is equal to 3, then it will be 3s, 3p and 3d. If n is equal to 4, again for 4s, 4p, 4d and 4f, right? I hope you have understood this, okay? Now, as I have already tell you, it tells about the angular momentum of the electron. So the orbital angular momentum, it will also tell the orbital angular momentum, which is L of the electron, which will be given by this formula, okay? L is equal to under root L plus 1 into h by 2 pi, okay? This will tell this. Through this formula we can find out the angular momentum of that orbital, okay? So this was all about the azimuthal quantum number. Now we will see magnetic quantum number. So when we talk about the magnetic quantum number, this magnetic quantum number is what? It tells us the orbital of an electron or orientation of the suborbit, okay? What is the use of this magnetic quantum number? It is denoted by m, okay? It is denoted by m, and it tells us the orbital of an electron or orientation of suborbit, okay? It also tells about the z component of angular momentum of the electron for any value, okay? So we will see one by one. So what is this magnetic quantum number? This magnetic quantum number was introduced by uh, Landy to explain the Zeeman effect. Actually, we have learned about the Zeeman effect, okay, right? In the previous class, I have told you about the Zeeman effect. Zeeman effect is what? A scattering of a spectrum line when atom is kept in a magnetic field. Based on it, Zeeman suggested the existence of orbitals in suborbit, right? So this was the Zeeman effect. So it was introduced basically to explain the Zeeman effect. After that, it is denoted by what? It is denoted by m, as you can see here. And now next is denoted by m, and after that next is what? This quantum number, this magnetic quantum number refer to the different orientation. Okay, it will basically, this magnetic quantum numbers tells us about the orientation. Okay, orientation of the electron could be in a particular subshell. What will in the particular subshell, what will be the orientation of that electron? It will be explained by what? This magnetic quantum number. Okay, these orientation are called what? Orbitals. Okay, now next, an electron, due to its orbital motion around the nucleus, generate an electric, or we can say that the electric field. In terms it produce a magnetic field which can interact with the external magnetic field. Thus, under the influence of the external magnetic field, electron of the subshell can orient themselves in a certain prescribed region space around the nucleus, called orbitals. Okay, and this magnetic quantum number determine the number or of preferred orientation of the electron present in the subshell. Okay, we will see this. Okay, so such each orientation component to an orbital is therefore a magnetic quantum number determine the number of orbital present in a cell. So we will see this, what is this magnetic quantum number. So when we talk about the value of this magnetic quantum number, when we talk about the value of this magnetic quantum number, its value will be minus half to plus L, minus L to plus L. Okay, minus L to plus L. So how to find out? I will tell you. So total is what? 2L plus 1. How we will see? Suppose we through this we can through this we will try to understand the magnetic quantum number. As you can see this table, you see this table. So when the subshell is S, okay, so when the subshell is S means n is what? N is what? Here n is not given, we will write n. Okay, suppose with n is what? When the subshell is 0, at that time it is talking about S orbital. Okay, so S orbital means n is equal to 1. So as I have told you, when n will be 1, at that time the value of L will be what? 0, right? N minus 1, because L is what? N minus 1, it will be 0. If L is 0, then M will also be 0. Okay, then how many number of orientation will be possible, or we can say how many orbital will be there in the first orbit or in the S orbit? Only 1. Okay, if it is only 1, then how many electrons it will be present in that orbital? It will be 2. Okay, now after that, when we talk about this P, means P, if we are talking about the P, then N is what? Here there N is equal to 2, right? Then their L value will be what? 2 minus 1 means 1. Okay, when it is 1, what I have told you, the value of magnetic quantum number will be from minus L to plus L. Okay, minus L to plus L, right? So if it is 1, then it will be how much? Minus 1, 0, plus 1, right? As you can see here, it is written minus 1, 0, plus 1. Then how many orientation is possible? 1, 2, 3. 3 orientation is possible. Okay, now again, when we talk about the D subshell, or when we talk about the D subshell, at that time what the value of L will be? 3 minus 1 will be 2. When it is 2, means the M value of M will be start from minus 2, minus 1, 0, plus 1, and plus 2, as you can see here. And how many orientation is possible? 5 orientation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? As you can see here. Now again, after that, when we talk about the F subshell, then 4 minus 1, it is 3. L value is 3. When the value of L is 3, then the M will be minus 3 to plus 3. As you can see this, minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2, and 3. So how many orientation are possible? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 orientations are possible. Okay, and one more thing, you see that this 1, 3, 5, and 7, it is talking about the number of electrons which is present in that cell. If we will see that, suppose you can see here in S orbital, when you talk about this S orbital, how many electrons is, how many orientation is? 1, right? So S orbital, the shape of the S orbital is like this. Okay, this is, suppose it is 1s, okay, 1s. When we talk about the p orbital will be like this, okay. P orbital will be like this. This is p. This is, sorry, this is p orbital, okay. This is p orbital. Again, when we talk about this d orbital will be like this, okay. 1 2 3 4 5. This is d orbital, okay. When we talk about the f, again, f is what, here I will draw, f is 7, then 1 2 3, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So now from here we can easily find out how many electrons will be there in particular cell. In 1s, how many electron? It will be 2 electron, okay, 2 electron. Here in p it will be 2 4 6 6 electron. In d it will be 10, and in f it will be 14. So in s subshell it will only 2 electron can reside, in p only 6, in d only 10, and in f only 14, okay. So from here, from this chart, we can easily find out what is the number of electron, and what will be the value of n, what will be number orientation, and how many electrons is there, what is the subshell. From here we can easily find out, okay. I hope you have understood this. After that as you can also see here, it is written here, when L is equal to 0, M has only one value, which is M is equal to 0, and the subshell has only one orbital called s orbital, okay. Now again, if the L, now again here you can see, if when L is equal to 1, then M will be have three values, which is -1, 0, and +1, and the subshell will be P, as I have already shown you P, and the P has a three space orientation, or three orbital, okay. These three orbital are designated as px, py, and pz, okay, like this. If we are drawing here one, then it is px, this is py, and this is pz, okay. Now next, when we talk about when L is equal to 2, then M can have 5 value, which is -2 to +2, as you can see, 1 2 3 4 5 values, and the subshell is the sub level or subshell is D, and has a 5 space orientation, or 5 orbital, and the 5 orbital are designated at dx, dy, dxz, dxy, dyz, and dzx. After that dx square, y square, and dz square, okay. After that, again, when the value of L is 3, at that time M will have 7 values, will be -3 to -7, as you can see, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, right. And the sub level subshell, or we can sub level, is F, and has a space orientation of 7 orbital, and the magnetic quantum number gives the orbital give the orientation of the orbital in a space, okay. Now as you can say that all the orbital present in a subshell have a same energy and space, and these are called degenerate orbitals, okay, which differ in their spectral orientation. So I hope you have got some idea about this magnetic quantum number. After that, one more thing, it is written, each the value of M constitute an orbital in the sub level, okay, and the maximum number of electron in a subshell will be this value, okay, 2 into 2l plus 1, or 4l plus 2, okay. So this was about the magnetic quantum number, and after that we will see spin quantum number. So when we talk about the spin quantum number, we can say like this: the two electrons in an orbital always spin in opposite direction, okay. When we talk about the orbitals, and in that orbital, if two electrons are there, they will always have a opposite spin. One will be clockwise, okay, clockwise, another will be anti-clockwise, okay, anti-clockwise, okay, anti-clockwise. And when it will be clockwise, it will be given as -half, or when it will be clockwise, it will be given as +half value, okay. So due to this spinning motion of electron, it behave as a micromagnet, okay, and atoms show a magnetic behavior. due to this spinning movement, plus half and minus half, or we can say the clockwise and anti-clockwise direction, movement of this clockwise and anti-clockwise direction, this yeah, this behave as a this electron behave as a micromagnet, okay, and the atoms show a magnetic behavior. It also tells about the magnetic property, okay. So how the spin is, suppose I will give you one example. Suppose this is our orbit, and in this orbit here is one electron. Suppose I will draw with another color so that you can understand easily. Here it is one electron, another one, and another electron is here, okay. And if these electrons are moving in like this, okay, if these electrons are moving like this, suppose, okay, so when we see the orientation of these electrons, one will be moved like this, one will move like this, then another one will move like this, okay. Are you understanding or not? If I hope you are understanding this. If these electrons are moving like this, okay, if electrons are moving like this, then within electron himself will move like this. If one is moving himself, it is moving like this, then this one will move like this, okay, like this. I hope you have understood this, right? So now we will see what is written here. So this spin quantum number was proposed by Winnebeck and Gondsmith, okay, and it is denoted by S or MS, okay, it is denoted by S, or in some book it is written MS like this, okay. Now next, it indicate the direction of the spinning of electron, as I have told you, present in any orbit. Whenever it is not like that. If it is a electrons are present in some other orbit, it will behave, it will spin in different way. It will spin same as it is indicated in. It will be, one will be in clockwise, another will be in anti-clockwise. So it indicate the direction of the spinning of electron present in any orbit, okay. Now next is, since the electron in an orbit can spin either in a clockwise direction or in an anti-clockwise direction, as I have already tell you, and hence it gives the value of S, and can have two values, which is plus half and minus half, or these are very often represented by two arrows pointing in opposite direction, just like this and this, okay. So I hope you have understood what is this spin quantum number, okay. After that, at last, what is written, we will see that in, if the orbital contains two electron, okay, then the two magnetic movement opposes and cancel each other, okay. If these orbitals contains two electron, then the two magnetic moment, one will be like this. If another one is moving like this, then these two, if they are generating a magnetic effect, then they two will cancel out, we cancel each other, okay. After that, we will see these, what we can say, thus in an atom, if all the orbitals are fully filled, the net magnetic movement will be zero, as I have already discussed about this, and the substance is diamagnetic. If the net magnetic moment is zero, if the net magnetic movement will be zero, then the substance will be diamagnetic, okay. The substance will be diamagnetic, okay. And however, if some half filled orbitals are present, the substance has a net magnetic moment, and it is paramagnetic. Suppose I will tell you, if this orbital, suppose if it is an s orbital, or if it is a p orbital, it doesn't matter, okay. If it is an s orbital or it is a p orbital, we will not see this. If it is orbital or fully filled like this, I will give you one example here. If you are talking about the s, this is a p orbital and this is an s orbital. Suppose this is s and this is p. In s it is 3, right? And s, suppose these are fully filled, 1 2 3 4 5 and 6. If it is fully filled, then it will be, the substance will, the net magnetic moment will cancel each other, okay. The net magnetic moment will be zero, and the substance will be diamagnetic, okay. And if the orbitals are half filled, okay, if the orbitals are half filled like this, suppose the orbital is, this is a p orbital and this is filled like this, okay. And suppose this is an s orbital and this is filled like this, half filled, as you can see. In place of 6 electron, only 3 is there. In place of 2 electrons, only 2 is there. Then net magnetic moment at, there will be a magnetic moment, and net magnetic moment will be some there will be some net magnetic moment, and the substance will behave like a paramagnetic. This one you will learn in class 12 in solid state. Okay, now again when we talk about the angular momentum, okay, when we talk about the angular momentum, angular momentum is denoted by this, you like this, okay, and it will be given by this value under root s into s plus 1 h by 2 pi. Okay, so this was all about the quantum number. I hope you have understood this. Okay, so in the next class we will discuss about the atomic orbitals, different orbit and orbital, like this. Okay, till that, thank you.